Hey up, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and it's time to review episode 8 of season 1 of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. This one's called Birthright, and despite being an exposition-heavy episode, I found it gripping. To be honest, I thought it was one of the best episodes of the season so far. It goes by really quickly, even though there's not a lot of action, except to the end. But we'll get to that later. But as I said, it's an exposition heavy. We're learning about the characters, or some of the characters. But let's just get into it, shall we? We'll just get into it. There we go. So off we go. So we begin. I don't think it actually says. I think this is 1959. I think this is the day that Keiko dies. And this is where we're learning that they are married. Well, I presume they're married. But you're given the impression they're talking about Hiroshi, the young Hiroshi, and it gives the impression, particularly from what Bill Randa says, young Bill Randa, that Hiroshi is his son, because he says, he'll have my swing and all that, and he'll have his mother's intelligence and all that stuff. But we'll learn later on that Hiroshi is not Bill's son. So anyway, so this is that day, and they're saying that they miss him. This is the last time, obviously, that she's going to talk about him, and she's not going to see him again, because I think this is the day that Keiko. Well, we think Keiko dies. That's kind of all up in the air by the end of this episode. To be completely honest, she may still be around in some form. Probably not, because it's. But anyway, whatever. We'll get to that. So anyway, right. So they're talking about how they miss him, and then she turns to Lee, the young Lee, Wyatt Russell, and she says, what do you think, or whatever. And then it cuts to she's smiling at him. Come on, get on with it. No. And it cuts to old Lee, so he's obviously thinking about it, because they're in Kazakhstan now in 2015, and he's thinking about one of the last day that he saw Keiko alive. Because remember, he's madly in love with Keiko, but she's ended up getting married to Bill Randa. So he's thinking about it. So anyway, so this is I forgot her name now. Dupre, something like that. Michelle, her first name, we found out. She's wondering why they're going to this place. She says there's other sites that have better chances of success or whatever for whatever they're doing. Remember the last episode? They blew up that big hole in Alaska. Which were apparently a hole leading to the inner Earth. Remember from Godzilla vs. Kong? It led to the inner Earth. It's not just the inside of the Earth, is it? It's like another dimension sort of thing. That you don't just fall into the hollow Earth. It's a gateway to another realm. That's what they're suggesting here, anyway. So they basically closed up that hole. But we learn that they may have closed that one, but it must be some sort of pressure thing or something, but it's made the emanations from the other portal areas even more, even greater. So anyway, so that's where they're heading. Oh, and they're in the car, and he says, there's a turn coming up ahead. He doesn't say which way, but they obviously know which way, because as we see, he's going to show it now, as we see, when they get to there's a turn, it's a crossroads, so he says there's a turn. He didn't say left or right, but they just know to go left. I don't know if this is what Kazakhstan looks like. Maybe it does. I don't know. Right, they're going to get the titles. Blah, 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 blah. Off we go. Directed by Hiromi Kamata, and well done to Hiromi Kamata. Remember, Shaw has been stripped of command of Monarch, or Monarch, as they keep calling it. It's Project Monarch. It's Monarch, isn't it? But anyway, this fella, Lieutenant Kelsey, is that who I can't remember, but he's in charge, and he's obviously a brown-nosing young officer, and he's a pain in the ass. And here they've given him reports, and he's basically telling them, the rubbish, it's all just gobbledygook and technical jargon, scientific nonsense, and then he starts basically bad-mouthing Keiko because she's Japanese. Remember, America's 10 years out of the Second World War. There's a lot of still distrust with the Japanese. I presume with the Koreans as well, North Koreans. It's not long after the Korean War as well, is it? But never mind. And obviously, and in this, Bill Rand ends up leaping to her defence, and I think he punches him. But it doesn't actually show it, but we get that inference. I'm just trying to find that bit. Here we go. So, yeah, Lee's got to drag him off. So he's defended Keiko's honour. This episode is all about Keiko and Bill falling in love, by the way. Then we cut to 2015. They're at Monarch HQ. Tim's tripping up over boxes and stuff. And we're learning that, by the way, Anna s01e08, I don't know how you pronounce it. Absolutely gorgeous. But never mind. There we see she's looking at a photo of General Puckett, played by the ever-reliable Christopher Heyerdahl, who we do see in this episode, thank goodness. I haven't seen him for a while. Anyway, they're just at Monarch HQ. And the question was that there's no photos of Lee Shaw or the Randers. So we were led to believe that they were the whole reason for Monarch existing. And Tim says, well, their relationship with Monarch is complicated. But anyway, there's more photos in the background. I don't know if they've got any meaning. There's like dogs and sleds and stuff there. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know who that is. And there's a hole in the ground there. I don't know. Kind of reminiscent maybe of The Thing. I don't know. So anyway, they get into the Monarch HQ control room. And they're wondering what to do next. And they don't even know where to go next. They've just got loads of data, but they don't know what to do. And they tell, well, he's going to Kazakhstan because that's where he lost Keiko. That's where she died. So he says that's where they're going. This is where we also learn that after he closed the portal in Alaska, the gamma ray emissions or whatever from the other portal areas that they've got on site. Remember, they found the big map of Hiroshi Randa in San Francisco with he'd marked on his map where the other portal areas were. The gamma emissions have increased exponentially from those areas, and her, whose name I've forgotten again, the head of Monarch, or one of the heads of Monarch, remembered who's cut some sort of deal with the baddie from Godzilla vs. Kong. I forgot what I was saying now. All right, she suggests that if it closes another portal, it could create another G-Day, cause another Godzilla rampage or another Titan or whatever to appear, which is cool. But obviously they don't want that to happen. Right, so we're back in Kazakhstan. Here they've arrived. Remember in 1959, I think it was, wasn't it? They found Keiko. They found all these young titans, like hatchlings, I suppose you could say. Excuse me. They're all feeding off the radiation from this old nuclear power station, and she got pulled, we think, to her doom by all these young creatures. On this, where this show, he's remembering how he lost Keiko. There we go. So it just shows us. So that's where he wants to go. So we're back to 1955, and they've got to find a way to, make the higher ups in the American military or government or both not forget about Monarch, because the funding's going to be pulled, basically. Is it Lieutenant Kelsey? Is it Kelsey? Let me check. No, it's Lieutenant Hatch. Where did I get Kelsey from? I have no idea. It's Lieutenant Hatch. Is there somebody called Kelsey in this? I don't know. I must have seen it somewhere. I'm an idiot. Lieutenant Hatch. He wants to pull funding, and he wants to basically siphon funding to his own projects, whatever they are. So they've got to do, essentially do a report showing where, the Titans may appear again. So that's what they've got to do. So that's what Lee's tasking them to do. So then we're back to 2015, and they're trying to work out, what's going to happen next. He's looking. Hang on, where is he? Kentaro. There, he's looking at one of the reports, and it's one that happened to fall on his 18th birthday. And he says on his 18th birthday, Hiroshi was here at Monarch HQ working on something. And Tim says, "Oh yeah, that was a busy day, busy." And he said, "Yeah, your dad may not have been, Hiroshi may not have been Dad of the Year, but he was doing important work essentially, trying to save the world." So they're going to Kazakhstan. That's where they're telling the boss, and they should go because it's where Lee Shaw wants them to go. She says, "I'm not sending, inexperienced people, to Kazakhstan." He says, "Well, when you sent experienced soldiers last time, it didn't help, did it? Because they all died in that helicopter crash. Apart from Tim, who's got plot armor." So they're all going to Kazakhstan, but Kentaro's not sure if he wants to go or not. But Kate talks him into it. So off they go. They're off to Kazakhstan, and then we get back to 1955. They go into this elevator, and in 2015, and then he comes out of it in 1955. And he goes to the office, and we see Keiko's put lots of lanterns up. Oh, they've not got open flames in it. It'll all burn down, won't it? But whatever. So she's put that up. For whatever reason, maybe, can't they get some more lamps? Obviously not. More electric lamps. So they're working nice. They're working well together. This is where we see she thanks him for sticking up for her and all that. And this is where we see the relationship starting to blossom now. And he tells her that when she went to save him on the Lawton, remember the ship? I think it might have been in the first episode. I think it was. Maybe the first or second episode, I can't remember. They found that ship in the middle of the jungle. And the what they call the dragon appeared, the big creature. She saved him, basically, pulled him out of there, or whatever she did. She saved him, and that's when he says, and that's when I finally knew that. And you're thinking, he loves her, he's in love with her. But he just says, I could trust you. But, the subtext is all there. It's not even subtext, is it? It's obvious. But that's where we see that they are falling in love. And little do they know that Lee is lurking by the doorway, listening in. But anyway, so they're going to work on the dossier that they're putting together of where they've seen the creatures. So she's marking like G for Godzilla, D for the dragon that they saw at the Lawton, the ship, etc. And then they mention other sightings. I think something in the Philippines, I think. The Godzilla sighting that they had a couple of episodes ago when they realised that the bomb, they tried blowing him up, remember, with an atomic bomb, didn't work. Oh, for all they know, there could be more than one Godzilla. They never think of that, do they? For all we know, there could be two, there could be 10 Godzilla-type creatures for all we know, but no, there's just one. Anyway, I think she mentions I think it's the Philippines, and he's got photos, and she says, I've got photos. He says, blurry photos, and she says, well, I'll mark it as unconfirmed. He says, that's the science. That's how you've got to do it. So they're working well together. Lee recognises this, and I think he knows that he's losing Keiko. Also losing his career, possibly. But, he's an honourable man. Right, back in 2015, they're on the way to Kazakhstan. They got there really quickly. They must have like hyperspace planes or something, I don't know. Or there's been the passage of time. You haven't to think about it, have you? They can get wherever they want to go, and you haven't to think about how many days it's taken for them to get there. But remember, while they were talking at Monarch HQ, Lee and his team were already there at where they're going now. So they've just been sat twiddling their thumbs as Lee's team for days, possibly. Or a day, at least. Here we are, so the turn onto a different road that Lee's team took. It was a crossroads before, now it's some sort of intersection. I don't know. Anyway, so they arrive in some sort of industrial town. It's supposed to be, what's left of a nuclear power station or whatever, a nuclear facility. They said, Lee's team is here already. they've blown the way in, blah, blah, blah. So they go inside, they find it's all abandoned, obviously. And they find some, what they call them, I can't remember what they call them, like molts. When an insect molts its skin. I don't know, carapaces. No, that's not the word, is it? You know what I mean? They find some of those, because Tim shrieks. And yeah, that's what they found. He says, I thought you were the Monarch guy. He says, shut up. He obviously don't like bugs. But he says, they've been here for some time. I don't know, because remember last time we saw them, it was 1955, so it's like 60 years, isn't it? So maybe they just grow really slowly. I don't know, but I don't know if these are more recent or if they're from 1955, I don't know, but they're saying, well, only time an insect molts its skin is when it's grown out of it, when it's got bigger. So there's obviously bigger bugs around there. But luckily we don't see any, but we do see a big monster later on. Maybe that's one of the bugs. Right, so they get in and they find the area. This is where Keiko was pulled to her doom 60 years earlier. They're looking at a big hole. It turns out this is a portal. As you can see, there's all light down there, swirling. But then Lee's squad arrives, aiming guns at them. Here they are. And so they keep the guns on the team, but Lee wants to see Kate. So he takes Kate away to talk to her. Then we're back in 55. This is Bill checking his date, and then he realises something. You know what? I can't remember what. I've just finished watching it and I've forgotten already. But he has a revelation. He's got to go and tell Keiko immediately. Look, boom. Why he's thinking of the ants. Somehow the ants have got into their office, which is like four stories below ground or something. Because it's very messy, as you can see. There's crumbs everywhere from his food, and ants have got in. So this reminds him of something. I can't remember what, but anyway, it's a revelation. So he's got to tell Keiko. And he's tried phoning her, but there's no answer. So he just goes to her apartment / house or whatever, and he's all happy, telling her, something. This is important. Blah blah blah. And then we learn. Look, they're all falling in love. And then we learn she's got a kid already. This is Hiroshi. So his dad, I think, died in the war, and this is her secret that Hatch referred to earlier on when Bill punched him. This is her secret that she's already got a kid. She's a widow, a Japanese war widow, I think. Hiroshi's dad's passed away anyway. And she's been saving up to try and get him over from Japan. He's been living with her mother, but now, the visas have come through and she's raised up enough money, thankfully, because of her employment by Monarch. And now they've come over to live there, Hiroshi and Keiko's mother. So he's not Bill's kid at all. So there we go. Anyway, so the Randers, Kate and Kentaro Rander, have no relationship whatsoever to Bill Rander, apart from through marriage. But they've no DNA, they don't share any DNA with him. Anyway, right. So this is now where I think they properly fall in love. And he says, she says, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wanted to tell you. I almost told you many times. He says, don't worry about it. He says, I've got your back. And then he fumbles his words, says, Monarch's got your back. But they know they're in love and all that. Back in 2015, there's a lot of toing and froing, isn't there, in the times, but it works in this episode. Kate asks, why do you want to see me alone? And Lee says, you know why? When they were in North Africa, Algeria they were in, I've forgotten. Anyway, when they were in North Africa, when Godzilla decided to wake up from his slumber of less than a year, but somehow we were covered in loads of soil and earth. Maybe he'd dug a hole, I don't know. And he woke up, he saw his eye, and he looked straight at Kate, and then stomped off. So that's what he's saying. He looked at you. You know he's not just a monster. He knows what he's doing. He says, well, what is he doing? And he doesn't know, obviously. He thinks there's a reason he has a reason for doing what he's doing, and he's there to not just destroy people and cities and all that. He's there to keep the other Titans down in the other world. That's his job. So they're going to blow up this portal here. But before that, we head back to 1955. I think, is this supposed to be the White House? I don't know. But General Puckett's about to have a meeting with the President and Lieutenant Hatch. But Shaw wants to meet him, and Puckett says, you had your chance, son. Because remember, Puckett had told him, you either go with your team or you and lose your career, or you stay behind the desk, be a good officer, basically. And he decided to go and leave his post, essentially. Pardon me. Which is why Lieutenant Hatch were given the command of Monarch. But he ends up telling him that Godzilla's still alive. We didn't kill him. This is the file that Keiko and Bill have put together. And he says, he says that even, it doesn't say it in these words, but I think even if he loses his job, gets drummed out of the army or whatever, or reassigned, he wants to make sure that Keiko and Bill remain as the lead science team for Monarch. And Puckett actually says, well, why wouldn't they? But he wanted to make that clear. He was looking after his team. And so they kind of have a bit of a reconciliation here. He takes the file and says thank you and all that. So he gives Lieutenant Hatch a pat on the shoulder and tells him good luck. So it's obviously Monarch's still going to be a thing after this. And I bet Lee's back in charge again. Maybe, we'll see. It probably is, because we see him in 1959, don't we? So he probably gets charge of Monarch again. Or at least, he doesn't get fired. He's still part of the team anyway. Right, back in 2015, they're all waiting while Lee and Kate talk about Godzilla, and about the birthright of the episode is that Lee essentially wants Kate and Kentaro to carry on the family business of Monarch. That's why he keeps wanting them to go with him and that, because he thinks of it as a family business, and they're the only family he's got left, because they're his god kids, his god children essentially, aren't they? She even suggests that there's Kate that at one point Lee may have tried to tell them that he was their grandfather, that he was the father of Hiroshi, but now we know that's not true. But anyway, but he still considers them family, because obviously he was still close with Bill and Keiko. So anyway, so there we go, countdown, 2 minutes, it's all going to blow up. So they go running out. Lee heads that way to the left. For some reason, Kate heads right, and I don't know why. But she heads right, and obviously, and then falls. Hang on, no, because first before that, May heads back for Keiko, and she goes running, and she falls into the pit. Hang on, is it going to show us it? There we go. That's May. Down she goes. Go on. Kate arrives. But May's fallen. Look, she's gone. Yeah. I actually went, yeah, because I don't like May. Sorry, I just don't. I thought, ooh, I was actually surprised. I thought, have they killed off May? But then something else happens in a minute. I thought, no, she's not dead. She's not dead. Which made me think, maybe Keiko's not dead either. We will see. But anyway, May's gone down into the portal. Then Kate, I think I missed another bit. A big monster comes out. There we go. As Kate falls as well, because she went to help May, but she falls and she nearly slips down. And then a big monster comes out, looking all cool and monstery. And but that gets knocked down by falling debris, because all the explosives have gone off. That gets knocked down, and then Lee helps Kate up, but then they fall down when it all explodes. It's all going to hang on. They're going to fall down. I think when the explosives go off. There we go. So where were all the debris from earlier coming from? Maybe it was just from the arrival of the monster. I don't know. So I was thinking, hang on, the explosives haven't gone off yet. Anyway, never mind. But then, see, I've gone too far. Look. But then they fall down. These explosives go off. Shut up, princess. My cat's making noises behind me. Come on, here we go. There we go. It's all falling. And then we see... hang on, I think I might have gone too far. They're going to fall now. They're going down, look. Are you ready? Right, here we go. They fall down. I thought the explosives made them fall down. But they don't. They fall down now. So that's what I thought. Right. They're going to be fine. By the way, earlier on, Lee had said he's been to this other world. He talks about there's another world down there. And he said he'd been there. So obviously, I presume we're going to see that at some point with Wyatt Russell. But anyway, Lee and Kate have fallen. They've gone after May. Not gone after her, but, chronologically, they've gone after May. So that makes me think they're all still okay. And maybe Keiko's still okay. We will see. But they've all gone into the other world, which I thought you couldn't survive. Maybe it's just a different way of getting there. I don't know. I thought in Godzilla vs. Kong they had to build these special machines to survive all the forces and stuff. I don't know, but anyways, then it all blows up, and then it all collapses, plugs up that hole. So I presume they're going to have to find another portal area now to get into the inner world to recover Lee and Kate and May and maybe Keiko. And that's the end of that episode. That's a really good one, to be honest. A really good one. One of the better ones. Even though it were heavy exposition. Back to the monster, if we can see it. I'm too far, never mind. Well, let's look at Anna, Kate. A good episode. Say exposition heavy, but fun. I did enjoy it. We saw a monster at the end. Yay! I thought May had passed away. Yay! But I don't know. She's going to be back. I think she's going to be back. 2 episodes to go in this season. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Next episode 9 is called Axis Mundi, which is obviously the world's axis or whatever, so I don't know what that's going to be about. And the 10th one, Beyond Logic, which I bet is set in the inner earth or the other realm or whatever you want to call it. I bet it is, where everything's all higgledy-piggledy, gravity doesn't work properly and all that, does it? It's all... I bet that's what's going to happen. In these last 2 episodes at least, I bet that's what's going to happen. Are we going to get a season 2? Has it said anything yet? Does it say? I'm just looking on Wikipedia. See if it says if a season 2 has been greenlit. I don't think it says. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, won't we? Right, so we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. As I said, decent episode. Oh, I score 8 out of 10 for this one. Decent episode. I did enjoy it. So we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.